Alright, in this video we're going to factor trinomials. So number one, I got v squared plus 10v plus 24. So since there's a v squared in the front and not a number up there, I know this will go straight into my parentheses. Since that's a v squared, I'm going to get a v and a v. Now, since the last sign's positive on the trinomial, both of these factors will have the same sign as this middle number. So since the 10 is positive, both of these factors will be positive. Now, factors of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Only one pair of factors of 24 will add to get 10, and that is 4 and 6. So I throw in a 4 and 6, and we're done. So remember, if the last one's positive, find numbers over here that add to get to 10. Alright, number 2 is a b squared minus 16b plus 63. So once again, I got a b squared in the front, which means this is going to factor into a b and a b. That last sign's positive, so both of these will be like the middle sign. So since the middle sign's negative, both of these will be negative. Alright, then I'm find factors of 63. So that's 1 and 63, 3 and 21, 7 and 9. So out of them three sets of numbers, I need the set that adds to get 16, which will be 7 and 9. So I put in a 7 and a 9, and then we're done. Number 3, b squared minus 36 minus 5b. So the one thing we got to do is rearrange it so that the 5b is in the middle and the 36 is at the end. So that's going to turn into a b squared minus 5b minus 36. Alright, got the b squared in the front, so that's going to factor right into my parentheses. That'll be a b and a b. This time, that last number is negative, so when that's negative, you got unlike signs in the factors. Alright, so let's find factors of 36. That'll be 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, and 6 and 6. Since that's negative, I want factors that'll subtract and get 5. So the numbers that subtract to get 5 are 9 and 4. Now, since they're unlike signs, the larger factor 9 will have the same sign as the middle number. So since the middle number is negative, the 9 will be negative, and the 4 will be positive. And then we're done. Alright, number 4, 3y squared minus 12y plus 12. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is factor out a greatest common factor, because all three of these numbers will divide by 3. So I'm going to factor out that 3, and then divide all three of these by 3 to see what goes in my parentheses. So 3y squared divided by 3 leaves you a y squared minus 12y divided by 3 leaves you a 4y plus 12 divided by 3 leaves you a 4. Now, what we're going to do, the GCF will come down, and then the y squared minus 4y plus 4 is going to factor into parentheses. In the front will be a y. That last sign is positive, so both of these will be the same as the middle, so they'll both be negative. And then I need factors of 4 that'll add to get 4. So 4, there's only two ways, 1 times 4, 2 times 2. The one I need is 2 times 2. Now, it'll take the answer like that, or I could write 3 times y minus 2 squared. It'll take either answer. Alright, number 5 is c squared plus 5c minus 50. Alright, so we know that's got a c squared in the front, so we'll factor that into parentheses. C squared is a c and a c. The last sign's negative, so I got unlike signs. So 50, let's see what makes 50. 1 and 50, 2 and 25, 5 and 10. Alright, so remember, since that's negative, I want factors over here that subtract to get 5, which will be 5 and 10. The larger number 10 has the same sign as the middle, so the 10 will be positive, and the 5 will be negative. All right, moving on to number 6. We got 7v plus v squared plus 12. I want to rearrange that so that the v squared's in the front, then the 7v, then the 12. Alright, so I got a v squared in front, so I'm going to bring out my parentheses and put a v and a v. That 12 is positive, so both of these will have the same sign as the middle number, so they'll both be positive. And then let's see, factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. The pair that matches to get a 7, and remember they got to add, would be 3 and 4, and since they're both positive, don't matter where we put them. Alright, number 7, c squared minus 9c plus 14. So I got a c squared in front, so I'm going to go right into my parentheses, put a c and a c. The last sign's positive, so both of these will be negative like the middle. And then let's see, 14 is 1 and 14, 2 and 7. So the pair that adds to get 9 would be 2 and 7, and since they're both negative, don't matter where I put them. Alright, y'all, number 8, 8s plus s squared minus 20. So I'm going to rearrange that so I get the s squared first plus the 8s minus 20. So since I got my parentheses, I'm going to go right into putting the s in front of both of these. That's a negative 20, so I got unlike signs. And then I need factors of 20 that subtract and get 10. So let's see, 20 is 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. So the factors of 20 that'll subtract and get me that 8 in the middle would be 2 and 10. Since they're unlike signs, the larger number 10 has the same sign as the middle number, so the 10 will be positive and the 2 will be negative. Alright, v squared plus 9v plus 20. Alright, so I got the v squared in front, so I'm going to go right into my parentheses. That'll give me a v and a v. Last sign is positive, so both of these will be positive like that middle number. And then I want factors of 20 that'll add up to 9. Well, remember, we did the factors of 20 a while ago, and the pair that matches to get me a 9 would be 4 and 5. So I'll put in my 4 and my 5, and then we're done. Alright, number 10, 6 plus t minus t squared. Alright, so first thing I want to rearrange it, get the negative t squared first, plus the t, plus the 6. Now, we don't like that t squared being negative, so what we're going to do is factor out a GCF of a negative 1. So divide everybody by negative 1 and put that into parentheses. So a negative t squared divided by negative 1 makes that a t squared. T divided by negative 1 makes that a negative t. 6 divided by negative 1 makes that a negative 6. So we're going to bring down a GCF and then write the t squared minus t minus 6, factor that and put that in parentheses. So I got a t squared in the front, so that'll be a t and a t. 6 is negative, so you got unlike signs. And then let's see, factors of 6 are 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Since that's a negative, I want factors of 6 that'll subtract and get a 1, which will be 3 and 2. Since the larger number is 3, it's going to be negative like the middle number, and the 2 will be positive. So it'll take that answer, or you can do negative t plus 2, t minus 3. So it'll take that in either way. Alright, 11, I got 70w plus 3w squared minus w to the third. So I'm going to put that in order. The negative w to the third plus the 3w squared plus 70w. Alright, we're going to factor out a GCF. We don't want that being negative, so we're going to factor out a negative. And then all three of these have a w. So what we're going to do is factor out a negative w. So a negative divided by negative is going to make that a positive. 3 minus 1 leaves me a w squared. 3 divided by negative is a negative 3. W squared divided by w leaves me a w. 70 divided by that negative 1 is going to make that a negative 70. And then w divided by w goes away. So I'll bring down that w, negative w, and I'm going to factor the trinomial into parentheses. I got a w squared, which is a w and a w. That's a negative 70, so I got unlike signs. And then I need factors of 70 that'll give me a 3. So factors of 70 that'll give you a 3 would be 10 and 7. Since 10 is a larger number, it'll be negative like the middle number, and the 7 will be positive. And then that would be your final answer. Alright, C4 plus 4C squared minus 45. If you're noticing, this one, it has no GCF, so I'm going to go straight into my parentheses. Since I got a C4, that'll be a C squared and a C squared. The 45 is negative, so I got a plus and a minus. And then I want factors of 45 that'll equal 4 when you subtract. Okay, so 45, that could be 1 and 45, 3 and 15, 5 and 9. So the one that equals 4 would be 5 and 9. Since the middle number is positive, the 9 will be positive, and the 5 will be negative. Final answer. 13 is a squared minus 3a plus 29. So I'm going to go right into my parentheses. I got an A and an A. That's positive, so both of these will be negative like the middle number. And then factors of 29. Well, the only factors of 29 are 1 and 29. Those are not going to add up to get me a 3. So since no factors will give me what I need in the middle, this is what we're going to call prime or not factorable. Alright, 14 C squared plus 7CF plus 10F squared. Alright, notice there's no GCF, so we're going to go right into our parentheses. In the front will be a C and a C. Now, since you got an F squared at the back, that's going to put an F at the back of both parentheses. Now, that's positive, so both of these will be positive like the middle number. I want factors of 10 that'll equal 7. So 10 is 1 and 10, 2 and 5. The ones that equal 7 are 2 and 5, so I'll put in a 2 and a 5, and then we're done. Alright, y'all, 15. 2y squared minus 24y minus 90. Since all these numbers are even, I know there is a GCF of a 2 in that. So I'm going to factor out that 2 and put everything else in parentheses. 2y squared divided by 2 leaves you a y squared minus 24y divided by 2 makes that a 12y minus 90 divided by 2 is 45. So since I've got it ready, I'm going to now factor my trinomial, a y and a y. That's negative, so I got unlike signs. Factors of 45, that'll subtract and give me 12. Well, we did 45 up here, and the ones that subtract and give me 12 will be 3 and 15. Since 15 is a larger number, it'll be negative like the middle, and the 3 will be positive. Okay, y'all, so one more. This will be number 16. I got 48 minus r squared minus 2r. So I'm going to put this in order. Negative r squared minus 2r plus 48. Remember, we don't like that negative, so we're going to factor out a GCF of a negative 1. Alright, so negative r squared divided by negative 1 makes that a positive r squared. Negative 2r divided by negative 1 makes that a positive 2r. 48 divided by negative 1 makes that a negative 48. Alright, so now we're ready to factor that trinomial, so bring down your -1, set up our parentheses, r squared would be a r and a r. That's a -48, so you got a plus and a minus. Factors of 48, that equal 2. So let's see, 48 is 1 and 48, 2 and 24, 3 and 16, 4 and 12, 6 and 8. So remember, since that's negative, I want the ones that subtract and give me 2, which will be 8 and 6. Since the 8's larger, it'll be positive like the middle number. So you get an r plus 8 and then an r minus 6. So remember, since you got the -1 out front, you can write it like that, or you can write negative r plus 8, r minus 6. Alright, so y'all, that is the factoring for that section, so good luck.